Hey, Rich here with Fanatik Bike, and today we are talking about RockShox's new lineup of rear suspension. We also see the release of some new updates to their forks, and if you're hoping to learn more about that, click the link that we will throw up here. Check out our other video. But today, it's all about rear shocks, so let's dive in. 2 years ago, we saw significant updates to the RockShox's Super Deluxe Air and Coil offerings. RockShox had finally caught up to the competition with the introduction of independent high and low speed compression adjustment that could be found externally on the shocks, as well as the introduction of their new hydraulic bottom mount. The hydraulic bottom mount could be found on both the air and the coil shocks, with the coils differentiating themselves with an adjustable hydraulic bottom mount, which was really cool to see. Those updated rear shocks rode great, and it was a huge step forward for RockShox in the rear suspension department. Last year, we also saw the introduction of their all-new Vivid Air rear shock, further expanding their rear suspension offerings. The Vivid featured a larger air can to give it a more coil-like feel, as well as the introduction of their touchdown damper. We had some fun with the introduction of that shock, and a lot of us have been running Vivid Airs on our personal bikes as of late. Today, we are seeing updates to the Super Deluxe Air, as well as the introduction of the all-new Vivid Coil. First, let's dive into the Super Deluxe Air. The updates we're seeing to RockShox suspension today are all about better traction and a wider range of adjustment. The main update to the Super Deluxe Air is a new redesigned high-flow piston in the low-speed compression circuit that allows more oil to flow through the system when fully open. You have the same number of clicks on the low-speed compression, but a wider range. So, when the low-speed compression is fully open, you have less damping, more oil flow, and a buttery smooth feel. What seems to be a big theme of the new RockShox updates we're seeing today is the ability to simply upgrade your current suspension rather than having to buy a whole new shock to get the new technology. So, let's say you are on a C1 generation of the Super Deluxe Air. That would be one of the Super Deluxe Airs from the last 2 years that features the external high-speed and low-speed compression adjustment. All you've got to do is pick up the new high flow piston upgrade kit, as well as a C2 shim kit for about $60 total. And the next time you do a suspension service, you can upgrade your internals and have the latest and greatest. I actually have a C1 generation Super Deluxe Air on my trail bike currently, and I'm due for a suspension service. So once these kits land at the shop, I'm definitely going to be doing the upgrade. Another new upgrade option that we are seeing for the Super Deluxe Air is the brand new Linear XL Air Can that we have right here. Now, these air cans, when you throw them on your Super Deluxe Air, you can kind of think of it as a bridge between the more trail-oriented Super Deluxe Air and the more gravity-oriented Vivid Air. You throw that kit on there, and your Super Deluxe Air is going to now be kind of a mini Vivid, and this is definitely aimed at that more aggressive trail rider. The Linear XL Air Can has an increased positive air volume, giving you a more supple feel at the top of your travel, and it's extra tunable with the possibility of 8 different volume spacers in there. You're going to have 4 that can go into the eyelet portion of the air can and 4 in the air sleeve portion, so you can fine-tune the feel of your Super Deluxe to your liking. These kits will come with the volume spacers, air can, and everything you need to make the upgrade for about $100. This is kind of another upgrade I know I'll be doing to my Super Deluxe Air once we get these in stock. One thing to remember on these, there are different air cans for different stroke length shocks, so you're going to want to make sure you get the right one for your shock. Now, for the newest product, we are seeing the introduction of the all-new Vivid Coil. So, gone is the Super Deluxe Coil, now Vivid Coil. Looks very similar to the Super Deluxe, but it's what's on the inside that really counts. Vivid Air saw the introduction of the touchdown damper, which is a position-sensitive damping system that is extra supple in its first 10% of travel. You can kind of think of it as helping get the party started once your shock starts compressing. Got it on the Vivid Air, and now we have it on the Vivid Coil. So coils are typically the go-to choice for gravity-oriented riders, and the Vivid Air was introduced to give a coil-like feel with air adjustability to the gravity crowd, but now we have an actual coil joining the Vivid family with this new shock. You have all the hallmark features of the Vivid on this new shock. We have external high-speed compression adjustment, external low-speed compression adjustment, and of course, that really awesome adjustable hydraulic bottom mount. That adjustable hydraulic bottom mount is there to help you control the last 20% of your travel. So I've been lucky enough to be riding the Vivid Coil on my personal bike for a little bit here, and I have been absolutely loving it. Last week, I got to take it up to Whistler, where I was banging out some tech laps, some jump laps, and this thing feels great. I had ridden the Super Deluxe Coil in the past. That was an awesome shock as well, But man, adding that touchdown damper really takes this thing to the next level. It makes for an extra supple and smooth ride in the roughest terrain. We also get a new updated bottom out bumper on the Vivid Coil. Each of these bumpers is shock stroke specific, making sure you get the most out of the shocks travel without any harsh bottom outs. Like I said, I was up in Whistler thrashing this thing. Definitely went splat to flat on a couple things and no harsh bottom out feelings, which was really awesome. And then finally, we are seeing some minor tweaks to the coils for these shocks. Still available in black and red, but we are now seeing a new electric red color, which is updated to perfectly match the brand new red Zeb and the new Boxer. Another cool thing, these coils are also going to be available in 25-pound increments instead of the old 50-pound increment to really let you fine-tune that coil feel. In the past, with the 50-pound increments, it could kind of suck if you were in between coil spring weights and trying to dial in your suspension setup. Now, with the 25-pound increments, you can hopefully land on that perfect spring rate. If you still have the previous generation springs, they will fit on the new Vivid, and the new springs will also be backwards compatible with the previous Super Deluxe coil. So, if you're running Super Deluxe coil and you find yourself in between some spring rates, you now might be able to find the perfect one for you. That is kind of our quick and dirty overview of the new RockShox's rear suspension lineup. Really stoked to see the ability to upgrade previous generation Super Deluxe Airs, and I am definitely loving that new Vivid Coil with the touchdown damper. So, if you have any questions about any of the new suspension, throw it down in the comments or give the shop a call and we can help get you sorted. If you are looking to learn more about the new RockShox's fork suspension, make sure you check out our other video, which we will link to up here. I just want to say thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm going to go throw this back on my bike and go for a ride.